There we go. I had myself muted. All right, let's get started. So, today, hopefully everybody got the... Oop, one sec. I am getting a bit of an echo, and that should fix it. Okay, so hopefully everybody got the email, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So the first 2 days we were looking at numeric data. So data where the thing that you were looking at was already measured with a number, right? So I'm trying to remember what I actually did. So like milligrams of sodium, that's a number, that's a thing you can count, that's a numeric variable. But today we're going to turn to categorical data. So let me zoom in a little bit for you. So categorical data is when the thing that you are looking at is whether or not something belongs to a specific category, hence categorical. So things like t-shirt size, small, medium, and large, these are all categories, they're not numbers, right? Or, hi everybody, coming on into the chat, hello, hello, hello. Zip code is a categorical variable, so it's a number, right? But I think I mentioned yesterday, like one zip code isn't more than a number, it isn't more than another in some sense. They are, they're categories that have a sort of a, you're either in one or you're in another one, right? Dog breed, I like dogs. So like what breed a dog is, that's categorical. A dog could be more than one breed, it could be a mixed breed, so it could belong to multiple categories. Whether somebody's a repeat customer, so things like that. I think you get the point without me reading out the whole list of examples. And you can't do the things with categorical data that you can do with numeric data, right? So numeric data, we're looking at things like the average. Well, we can tell what the average of 5 numbers is, but what's the average, dog breed if you have 2 German Shepherds and another dog, a Frenchie. If you have 2 German Shepherds and a Frenchie, what's the average dog breed? That's not a meaningful question, right? Hey Peter, hey Habs. So, we need a different set of tools to look at this. And we're going to start with visualization. And I like visualization, because I think it's really rewarding to type something in and get some nice pictures out. I like pictures. And I think it helps give you a good grounding. And then when you start to ask the statistical questions, you already have the tools to look at the data and sort of figure out whether the things that you're coming up with are reasonable or not. So we're going to need a data set that has a categorical variable in it. And as it happens, I happen to have just such a data set that may be a little bit familiar to some of you. Let's see. Mine. Yeah, so I have, yes, there will be dogs involved. So I have the survey responses, some of the survey responses, I should say, from the, ooh, somebody else has written a kernel on it, the survey that you guys did when you first got going. And actually, I'm going to fix something 1 second because I saw a little bit of hesitation in the stream, and that worries me, especially since we had such a rough time on the first day. So wham, you go away, you continue. All right, so that should fix it, and let me know if there's any more problems with the stream. So if you guys took the survey and it was an optional, you will know that one of the questions in the survey was whether you preferred cats or dogs. And unfortunately, my emoji aren't rendering. They're emoji in the question, and I'll have to do some data cleaning to remove those. And I should say, I have done some anonymization, so if you answered other and there was a text field, I've removed that. I've also removed a random 2% of the data, so even if you did answer the survey, there's no guarantee that your data is in this data set, just to sort of, make sure there's no possible way that anyone could connect any particular response to a specific individual. All right, so let's start a new kernel. And we're going to do a bar chart today. And you guys have probably already seen what a bar chart looks like. Chords in my way. Images. So a bar chart is the one that looks like this, in case you're not familiar. So the idea is that along the the x-axis down here on the bottom, instead of numbers, you have categories. And then on the y-axis, again, you have counts. So how many of your observations fall into each category. So it's sort of the categorical version of a histogram, or the histogram is the numeric version of the bar chart. So it's very parallel to what we did earlier. And did I say what to call this? I did. You guys don't have to call it this. I just, personally, I think it looks tidier if everything has sort of the same name. And that's just a personal preference. And so that I'm not lying, I probably should actually do it in R. All right. It's thinking. So, the same thing that we always do. We need to read in our library tidyverse. We need to read in our data. I'm just gonna call it data set. I know that's not the most informative name, but read underscore CSV. Nope. There we go, anonymous survey responses. And then I like to check out the first few rows. Head data set. Give that a second. All right, and that all looks good. And we are going to want to clean up these what's it called? These file names a little bit, because you can see there's spaces in this one, and that's not going to make it. That's going to make it a little bit difficult to read. So let's use the janitor library, and then I believe it was clean.names is the function. I think it's clean.names. I'm like 80% sure it's clean.names. Oh, and actually, let me pipe this instead of doing the parentheses inside parentheses, because I think it's a little bit easier to read. Clean.names. I'm like 90% sure. This may give us an error. It did give us an error. Is it clean underscore names? Yes, it's clean underscore names. There we go. All right, and now you can see the names are much better. It is very possible that there is also a clean headings, Peter. I'm not entirely sure. But in this particular library, I like the clean names function when I remember what it's called. All right, a little bit of coffee. Okay, so that is step 1. And we're going to be using ggplot, which we've already loaded in with a tidyverse, so we don't need to do nothing. Pick a column with a categorical variable in it. In this case, it is this just for fun, do you prefer dogs or cats? Column. So we're good there. And then we're going to plot a bar chart. And my recommendation for R is to use ggplot and then adding the geom underscore bar layer. So let's make a new cell and ggplot, and then we need to tell it which data we want it to use. And we want it to use data set. And then we want to tell it which aesthetic we want it to use. And just like a histogram, there's just one. I'm making a gesture with my hands. You can't see. There's just one axis that you need to worry about, and that's the x-axis. And we want it to be this very long name. Just for fun, do you prefer dogs or cats? And let's just quickly run this and make an empty plot just to make sure everything worked out good. Yeah, so you can see that you can see the different labels underneath here, and then the label of this axis is the variable name. Oh yes, of course. When I'm done with it, I will definitely make it public. Srinivas, absolutely, I will. And also, all of them should be public. So this is a little bit of a tangent. I am sort of like collecting them up just so you can get them all in one place. It's thanking. And if you go into the 5-day data challenge in the getting started forum, I have a comment where I have the links to my notebooks for each day. Hey, you're very welcome. All right. So All right, so we've drawn our blank plot, which is all that ggplot does. Well, it's not all. It does a lot. It does a lot of sort of like automatic making things look better. And we're going to add a layer. So I'm actually going to comment this so you remember what it does. ggplot draws a blank plot with the aesthetics you give it. And then we're going to add a layer, so plus the end of the line, geom underscore bar, yes. Draw the bars for a bar chart. And then let's do gg title and give it a title. Pet, dogs or cats. All right. All right, so we can see, here's the count column, and you can see that there's a really strong preference for dogs in the people who are doing this particular challenge. But there's also a lot of people who like both. I will admit, I am a both person. I like cats, I like dogs. I wish people walked their cats, because then I could say hi to more cats, but at least in the US, that's not super common. There's also a fair number of people who are just like, I'd prefer neither. All right, so that's the gist of it, and I am going to do a little bit of data cleaning. So you'll see that my very nice emoji just are not rendering good. So let's get rid of them, and let's see if I can remember the labeling the axis, because we don't actually need a we don't need this variable name down here. So I think it's geom, it's geom something. Geom label. I think this is for putting labels on individual data points inside the plot. So if you had a scatter plot and you wanted to label each of the points in your scatter plot, I think you'd use geom label. I don't remember. Oh, hi TJ. We are using the 5-day data challenge sign up survey responses, which is the anonymized, some of the anonymized survey responses from the little survey you did when you signed up. See, here my nice little emoji render that just not in the data set, unfortunately. And there is actually, I think there are 2 packages for putting emoji into R, but currently they're not on CRAN, which is the big R package repository. They're just on GitHub. Hadley Wickham has the emo package, and then the function to get an emoji is that. JI, and if you want to say that a function is from within a specific package, you do it this way in R with a double colon. So that's the name of the package, and that's the name of the function, and that's the way that you plot a specific emoji with the emo package. But we don't have that on Kaggle just yet, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm gonna look up how to change the axes labels ggplot. There we go. Oh, labs, that's right. That's right. And then I think it's xlab and ylab. Yeah. So we've actually used something from within this before. We've used the gg title. So I don't need an xlab, so I can have xlab and then just make it equal to a blank text string, and that will get rid of it. And I do, before I plot this, I do want to do, oh, something happened. I think I might have reloaded the page accidentally. I do want to do a little bit of cleaning of these responses. So what I'm gonna do is try to remember what the function is. I think it's rename factor levels. That is in fact what I want to do. R dplyr. Factor levels, mutate. So dplyr is inside the tidyverse package, so I can call on these things in here. All right, so okay. So what factor actually does is it says that so we have here like a list. So far we had a list of numbers and we wanted to say, so if zip codes, let's say, were being interpreted as numbers and we wanted to say, no, these aren't numbers. These are in fact like different categories that things go into. So those are categories are treated as factors in R. That's just the name for them. This would change a string with 4, 6, and 8 into it into a string with factors 4, 6, and 8. And that is not what we want. I think I am looking for revalue. Let's try. Hi, Galva. So I just wanna make these sort of like not super informative values a little bit easier to read so that our plot looks nicer. And I could have gotten rid of all of this if I just hadn't put any emoji in my survey, but I like emoji. Rename the levels of this one factor so they look better when we plot them. And this is just the sort of like low-level nonsense data cleaning that just ends up happening a lot, unfortunately. So let's try this out. So our data set is actually called dataset very originally. And the one that we actually want to rename is called, Just for Fun, Do You Prefer Dogs or Cat? And let's try renaming this one to just cats and see where that gets us. See if that works. Could not find function revalue. Let's try recode instead, see if that works. Could not find function recode. Is it because I haven't run the tidyverse? Object X not found. Oh, right. So X was here where we had the name of the column. So let's replace that there. Argument 2 must be named, not unnamed. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I still have 12 minutes left in the R section, so we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Yeah, let's give that a try. So Srinilva suggests doing something like. Actually, let's first just try names. Well, okay, let's do two things. So first let's try looking at the names of the data set, and then let's try looking at the names of just this column in the data set. So within data set, we just want to look at this column just for fun. Cool. And see what that gets us. Shoot. Oh, too much delete. All right, so what names gives us when we run it over the data set is it gives us the name of every column in the data set, but it looks like what it does not do is give us the levels of the factor within a specific column of a data set. So what we could try is levels here. That also doesn't work. Let's actually just see what the structure of this is. Okay, so it's not a factor. It's just a list of characters. So it doesn't know here that cats question mark plus or minus is the same as this one, cats question mark plus or minus. So that's part of the reason we're having difficulty, is it doesn't know that this is a factor. So let's try levels, and then as dot factor. Yeah, try that. This may burn. Okay, excellent. So what we have now is as factor says that when things repeat, they actually are the same. So every time you see cats, question mark plus or minus, it's the same thing. And then levels will tell us all of the levels inside of that, right? So what are all the things that do repeat? So here you can see all of the names that are kind of hard to read. And I think if we try to reassign something to this, we will have problems. Oh, what'd I do? Oh, I just accidentally made a new cell. All right, so let's try assigning these 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it doesn't like that. You know what? I'm just gonna keep Googling. Changing the levels in a factor in R. Renaming the levels of a factor. That's exactly what I want to do. All right. So revalue or map values. So let's try this map values. Let's see if that works. So based on this example, it looks like X would probably be the data set name, which in our case is data set. And then from would be, get rid of this. So from would be here it's beta gamma. I think we can just copy and paste this thing that got us a list of the bad names. Go away. So let's copy and paste that. And then 2, and I don't actually remember what all the levels were. So we do want to make sure that they're in the same order, because it's going to map from the first thing in this vector to the first thing in this vector is going to be mapped to the first thing in this vector. So let's do both cats, dogs. Can we create a new column and assign this levels? We can. We can also overwrite the column that we have currently. Let's see if that works. Could not find function map values. I swear it's a real function. Let's see. Map values dplyr. Yeah, so I'm probably going to override the new column, override the column, so overwrite everything that was in the column with the new names, but you could absolutely use a new column. All right, so it's actually called case_win. Case 1 dataset must be a two-sided formula, not a list. All right, so let's check out dplyr recode. So the reason we're having a little bit of difficulty here is that the help that I was looking for was from a while ago, and that was from the package plyr, and dplyr is a new version of the package, so it's a little bit more different. Let's see. Recode R dplyr. So let's look at the documentation for this. I do this so often, you'd think I just like remember how to do it off the top of my head, but every time I gotta look it up. All right. Okay, recode. Oh, I see. So we have to do it for each of the individual levels within it. We can't pass it a string and then a second string. Well, fine. That's fine. We can do that. So let's copy and paste a little example here. Oh, recode matches by position. Let's try that. That might work. Thanks, Haps. Haps says that happens to everybody. So let's try this, because we should get these. So my little bit of worry here is so that in this example, both happens first, and then cats, and then dogs, and then neither, because it's in alphabetical order, because the levels of a factor are ordered alphabetically. But in the data frame, we don't see both first, we see cats first. So I'm worried that if we do this, we might end up accidentally changing what the values are. Arguments 2, 3, 4 must be named, not unnamed. Let's just do the little equivalence thing that they do. It sorts. Okay. So Shuniva says that it will sort automatically. Arguments 2, 3, and 4 must be named, not unnamed. Recode matches by position if you don't name the arguments. Let's just do this the long way, where we tell it the name for everything and what we want that new name to be. That's fine. We can make that work. It's just a little bit of typing. So you're gonna get a new name, and you're gonna get a new name, and you're gonna get a new name, and you're gonna get a new name. So I'm telling it, so for all of the levels that have each of these names, I want you to be called something else. So both, I just want to be called both. And cats, I just want to be called cats. And dogs, I just want to be called dogs. And then neither, I just want to be called neither. All right, awesome. So it's just printed it all out in a long list instead of saving it. It sorts, that's why you get both first. Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. But it does not. So if I was misunderstanding what was happening and I thought that it was going through alphabetically and it was actually going through in the order that they were observed in the data set, I'd end up completely destroying my data set and overwriting vowels, and I would values, and making absolutely the wrong analysis. So I do want to avoid that. All right, so rename the levels in our column. Oh, did I already say what I wanted to do? I did not. Okay. Oh, I actually did say what I wanted to do down there. So let's do that. Delete that. Scroll down. Put this in. And then delete all these cells we don't need that look ugly. Just so we, like, you know, our workspace looks a little bit tidier. All right. And nobody ever needs to know that we Googled for 10 minutes to try and get this to work good. Excellent. So now you can see that we have a nice title up here. And then under here we have the names for each of the columns, and we can see we get the same analysis, thankfully, with dogs being much more common than cats, or both, or neither. All right, excellent. So, you know what? Just looking at that, I think it would look better if these were all capital. And I could change them to whatever I want. They don't have to be neither. I could call them, I don't know. Also, cogs is not an animal. I could call them like A, B, C, D if I wanted. You can just rename them to whatever you like. All right, that looks good. So let's add a little bit of narration and then make this public. 80% data preparation, Peter says, yo. And I was the one who collected this data, so I could have made my life a lot easier, but oh well. Oh well. I think it made it nicer to take the survey, so I don't mind doing a little extra work. First, we're going to plot a bar chart of people's pet preferences. But first, we need to read in our data. And then here, recode our variables so that they don't have non-printing emoji in them, and then plot a bar chart. Awesome. So let's publish this. Oh, nope, go away. Let's publish this. I accidentally hit Control S to save, and it wanted me to save the whole website. And I think we mentioned yesterday you can download your notebook in progress as long as it's not currently rendering using that little cloud with a down arrow. And these all look good, no nasty warnings. So let's make this public. And then we're gonna do the same thing in Python. Pause for a sip of coffee. Any questions on R before we move on? Crickets. It's okay. I like to think it's because R is so easy and intuitive that no one could possibly have questions. I know that's not the case. I constantly have questions about R. Okay. A new kernel. A notebook. And we were gonna call it scroll 5-day challenge, day 4. And this one is in Python. And we are gonna want pandas as PD. And we are also going to want, you can go away, I don't need you anymore, matplotlib, import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Yeah, I know it's complex. It's, I think I am just so much more familiar with R that it seems simpler to me at this point. But even I get tripped up sometimes. Yesterday I was having trouble trying to figure out whether two data structures were equivalent, because you can't analyze equivalence of data structures. So that was a fun adventure that I was on. For plotting. All right, and then we're gonna read in our data frame. So let's call it the same thing. Data frame equals, because we're in pandas, we're in Python rather, pd dot read underscore, CSV. So tab complete won't work if you're trying to get a function from within a library and you haven't run the cell that loads in that library yet, which I continuously forget. Input anonymous survey responses. Let's run that. Oh, and actually let's check out the first couple rows. Head data frame. Oh, data frame dot head, because it's a method every time, man, every single time. Awesome. Okay. And we're not gonna mess with the column titles here, because we can refer to them as strings, so we can just sort of sidestep that problem. Read in our data, and then we're going to look at the first few rows. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the plotting working, and then we can work on the data cleaning, which will be hopefully fairly straightforward. We'll find out. So we're going to use plt.bar, and what does it want? Y position performance. I think I should be able to just hand it a vector of items. Let's find out. Plt.bar. And what if I give you data frame, and then within the data frame, I give you the column with the cat and dog? No. Okay, that won't work. All right. See, I got, Hap says it's not that easy. No, I just got, I was full of hope for a second there. What if, all right, so let's see. So it looks like it wants a frequency table. Just looking at sorry, let me zoom in so y'all can actually see. So it looks like it wants a frequency table, just looking at the thinkadoodle. So it has sort of 5, 6 languages here, and then it has 6 counts. So I think we need to get a frequency table for this. Can we use janitor? Does janitor exist in Python? When I use janitor in R, that's an R package, and I don't know if it's a thing. Let's find out. Python janitor package. There's one for cleaning Django. There's a simple HTTP server that supports OAuth authentication. So no, unfortunately, it looks like not. All right. So let's get a frequency table. Python pandas frequency table. That is, in fact, what I want. This looks like a dictionary, maybe? Series.describe. Value counts. All right, that looks like maybe what we want. So let's try getting value counts from here. Value. Underscore counts, and then it's a function, and I'm going to comment out this line so it won't run this line. Nope. Oh, that's because I can't spell. Series object has no attribute values underscore counts. Oh, thanks, Haps. It's because it is value counts and not values counts. Yeah. Excellent. All right, so let's call this pet frequency table. Count how often each preference is each pet preference. Pet, not poet. My favorite poet is dog. How often each poet preference is observe. All right, and now let's try to plot it and see how this works. Oh, also that's not how you spell pet. Missing one required positional argument height. Okay. Let's look more at the, did I have the email in here? Yeah, there we go. The documentation for this. Okay, so I do need to split it apart. Yeah, I need to, so Haps mentions I need to pass first the names, then the values. I don't actually know what the structure of this thing that I've created is. So I'm just going to check out, nope, not with a C on the end, I'm not. So I'm just going to check out the structure of the item, of the thing that I'm looking at. So it looks like items. Oh, okay. So have to solve things out here. Thank you. A panda series is a one-dimensional data frame. So in our lingo, that would be a vector. And to get the index, which is this one, will get you the names. So this dict method just sort of tells you a lot about the structure of the variable that you're looking at. So if I take the name of the data frame dot index, I will get a list of the names, and dot values will get a list of the values, which is not listed here. I do believe you. Let's see, data frame dot index, and let's try pet frequency table dot nope, values. Oh, that's right. And it will only print the last thing that has an output. So if I want to see them both. All right. So this will get us a list of the names. Thank you, Haps. And this will get us a list of the counts. Counts with an S at the end. And then, so to plot, we need to, this is so many steps just to make a bar chart, y'all. See, this is why I use R for visualization, because that's what it's designed for. So pass the names and counts to the bar plot function. Actually, it's just called bar function. All right. So names first, then the values. Dot VAL. Go. And I'm using tab complete to get the drop downs. I'm gonna encounter another problem. I choose to believe that this isn't the case, but alas, it is. So Haps is recommending Seaborn. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Thanks for joining us, She. All right, it's easier for count plots in Seaborn. Yes, but Matplotlib is supposed to be like, at least I've been told, it's sort of the default that people reach for. So I don't know, maybe Seaborn is now the default. Okay. So it looks like the problem is that index is giving us too much information. It's not just giving us the list of names. Num, 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 num. It is, pleasingly, drawing a blank plot. Peter says, I enjoy your struggle. We can learn more. I'm glad that someone's enjoying this. No, this is not. In the range of how much Python has made me cry, this is not super far up the range. List index, Hap suggests. It's not going to work if I give it a variable that doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So this will get us a list of names. What does list do? Python list function. That is what I want. Oh, nope, whoops, this is Python 2. What happens if I just change the 2 in the URL to 3? So for those of you who aren't super up on the Python Haps, Python 2 is now deprecated. Only Python 3 is now supported going forward, so it is not recommended to use it. So Kaggle. Kaggle does not support Python 2. Well, actually, maybe it does. By default, most things are in Python 3. So list transforms a class to a list. Oh, and Galva has very, let's see, I'm going to copy this link address, sent us a Stack Overflow thing. So rather than being a function, list is actually a mutable sequence type as documented in lists and sequence types. List, tuple, and range. Okay. So it's casting it as this new data type. All right, I get it. Here is a subportion of lists and rings. So plot bar, days of week call, dispatches on this weekday, 1, 2, 3, and then it just changes the labels using xticks. I don't love this solution, and just the reason that I'm not a huge fan of it is that there are too many places where I could type things in the wrong order and it would make my chart wrong. So if I let's say if I typed these, well, they're also alphabetically, but if I typed these things in the wrong order, and if I made a typo, then it would show up in the plot and it wouldn't necessarily be easy to catch later on. And I have to say that the best solution is just to use Seaborn. Listen, we'll do that after. So if we don't use insert, hit, will this work? Nope. Is it because I don't have enough parentheses? Pass the names and counts to the bar function. All right. Keywords argument. So I am getting a different error, which is a good thing. So yes, I think Seaborn probably is the best solution for this, but I did tell people to use matplotlib, so I should probably do the thing that I told people to do, because I, in my wisdom, does not accept strings as X. Why? Why? Okay. Well, I guess we will do the thing that they have done in this solution, even though there's lots of difficulty with it and like lots of ways that it could go super wrong. All right, we're just gonna copy paste and modify. Plunky is saying that they also spent an hour messing with matplotlib. It's gonna work. We're gonna make it work. And then we're gonna do Seaborn and be delighted that it's much better. I think I mentioned yesterday that matplotlib is also based on MATLAB, which is a bad language. I shouldn't say that. It's good for a very specific subset of things, but it's not my favorite. Okay. Can we tell it to plot a slice of the length? I have an idea. I don't know whether it's a good idea or not, but I do have an idea. So if I want to get, so my idea is, so what they've done here is they've given it 1, 2, and 3, the values, but I don't want to type that out. I just want it to know how many values I have in this. So if I can do maybe, let's start a new cell so we're not messing up our current one. This is also sort of my workflow. I'll start new cells and just like mess around in them. And then maybe labels dot length, maybe? Is this an attribute? It seems like the sort of thing that should be an attribute. It's not. It's a function. Okay. The single most frustrating thing about Python to me is what's an attribute and what's a function. What's a method and what's a function. All right. And then because this is Python and it's not like a human, illegal target for annotation. I can't just do a slice. Illegal target for annotation. So that's definitely like one number. Python print a slice. So sorry, a slice is in our a way to say go from the first number that I give you to the last number that I give you, and it's just sort of a way that generates things. So it looks like this is not actually like a primitive thing that you can do in Python, so that's just an R-full thing. You can't slice an integer. All right. So this would be, I mean, length isn't what the value is called, but this would very much be valid R syntax. And it's not, it is a primitive, so perhaps it's helping us out there, but you can't slice an integer, just list. So it's a way of selecting a subset of a list rather than a way of generating a string, generating a vector of numbers. Python. I'm doing a lot of work to avoid typing 1, 2, 3, and 4 together, because I want this for me to be able to like take this code and then use it in a different example. Yes, I agree, Galva. That does seem much nicer, but also I did tell people to use Matplotlib, so I should probably make it work so people can look at it with their eyes. I am full of regret about this now. When I do this, if I do this again, I will definitely recommend Seaborn instead. I have learned my lesson. Generate list of numbers. I'm not the first person to have asked this. This is what I need. All right, range. Range. Please tell me this will give me the numbers 1 through 4. It may actually give me the numbers 1 through 3. Okay. No, I wanted... What? It's an iterator, so you need to convert it to a list. Yeah, except it actually needs to be from 0 to 3 so that we get 4 numbers, because in Python people count from 0, like, not humans. Humans count from 1, y'all. Still don't care. Okay. So, generate a list of numbers from 0 to list of numbers as long as... Oh, so I can just drop the 0 so it'll automatically go from 0? Yeah, great, nice tip. Generate a list of numbers as long as our number of labels. So, get all the names from our frequency plot, and then generate a list of numbers. So I'm gonna call this... This is ridiculous. This is so much work for a bar chart. I'm gonna call this list of numbers. That's a good name. All right. So now, if I go down here and I say plot, get rid of all that, plot list of numbers, values, and then let's check out what were they doing here. Days of week call. So I need to, before, say also list of numbers. And then labels, except I said it with a lowercase l. Hopefully this will work. Hey! How many friggin' 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't actually think we need the plot.show though. I think that's a thing that Kaggle will automatically do for us. Yes, excellent. All right. So Matplotlib is a little bit involved. So we need to do quite a bit of data manipulation before we can make our bar chart. So Hap says, you can think of Matplotlib as a low-level API to plot. Yes, you can. It is very low-level, which doesn't, for those of you who haven't encountered that term before, it doesn't mean that it's easy. It means that you have to do everything yourself. It's not like low-level like a low-level course. It's low-level like you start at the molecular level and then build some compounds, and then you build the compounds into a carrot, and then you can eat the carrot. All right, so I shouldn't call this list of numbers. I should call this list of positions. I think that's a positions, POS. Positions for bars. I think that's a little bit more transparent. Plot our bars add labels. Save them for later. So I'm gonna call all of this data preparation. And then I'm gonna call this actual plotting. And hopefully that'll be pretty clear if people come upon this later. And I'm gonna not print these out so we don't clutter out our output, but people can go back and look at them later. People like me, for instance, because I guarantee I'm gonna forget all of this. Excellent. All right, there's our plot. Finally. We can also use the Seaborn package to plot. So import Seaborn as SNS, and then it was SNS.countplot. Yeah, SNS.countplot, and I should be able to just hand it pet freak table. No, I've done something horribly wrong. Why does count only go to 1? What have I done? Oh, I can just give it the whole data frame column? That's nice. I was making it harder than it needed to be. I don't even need that frequency table. And I definitely don't need a period after this. Import Seaborn and alias it as SNS. Plot our plot. Make a bar plot from a column in our data frame. Yeah, this is much simpler. All right. And also looks better, I think. Although I do like that this one automatically sorts them by height. I think that's sort of like nice. Pros and cons. So let's plot a bar chart. Haf says you can make your life as hard as you want with matplotlib. Yep, that looks like exactly the case. And you can sort them using the order parameter. Yeah, I don't especially want to, but you could if you wanted to. That is an option for you. Let's plot a bar chart. I'm going to do it in matplotlib first. Warning, fairly involved. And then using Seaborn, which I will import at the bottom right before I use it. So you, Haps is saying you can also feed it an ordered list with the labels, and that's what they did for their kernel. So check out Haps' kernel. And we can look at this. Copy link address. Go to link. First I'm going to finish writing my narration and make this all public so you guys can use it. So plot a bar chart using matplotlib. You will need to pass the function the following things: the positions where the bars should be as a list of numbers, e.g. 1, 2, 3. The counts for each bar in order also as a list of numbers. The labels for each bar in order as a list of words to be added after the bars are plotted using plot.xticks, plt.xticks, xticks. The first half of this cell is for the data preparation, and the last just FYI, this will be just FYI. And the last two lines are the actual plot. Oh, and I wanted to give it a title. I think it's plot.title. Is it? Yeah, plot.title. Pet preferences. And the last 3 lines are the actual plotting. Another option for plotting is the Seaborn package, which is much more streamlined, as you can see. Awesome. So I'm gonna publish this and make it public. All right, and while that's rendering, let's check out Hapses. So importing stuff, reading in the data, looking at the dimensions of the data frame, looking at the data types of the columns in the data frame, just sort of more general information, describing it, looking for null values, so it looks like there's a lot of type 2 values that just aren't filled out. Again, plotting just the missing values using, so it looks like the bar plot is using Seaborn, but setting the size of the figure is using matplotlib. Day 2, some nice histograms. And then day 3. Nope, we're on day 4. Oh my god, we're on day 4. Guys, there's just one more day. And so using... Okay, so this is the same sort of matplotlib approach. And then this is the Seaborn approach. Oh, that's so pretty. I like it. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming today, guys, and struggling with me or helping me with my struggles, as the case may be. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the last day. And we're actually going to, instead of just looking at our data, do some analysis. So tell whether or not our data is, whether or not there's an actual difference between category membership across other categories, and you'll get what I mean when we do it. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow.